Grated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The sweet and smoky salmon rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down. Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can't live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
All right, hello and welcome to another edition of the ONG Strike Zone. It's Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway, your three favorite Rattlers from our home studios, talking about everything that you need to hear about FAMU athletics and culture. That is us. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone is where you can find us. And also, if you are or have downloaded the Jericho Broadcast Network's app, which you can find in your Google or Apple Play Store by simply searching MyJBN, MyBCSN. Kelvin, how we doing?
Doing wonderful, man. Glad to be here, man. Excited. There's a lot of stuff happening in Rally Nation and in SWAC Nation, actually. So I'm looking forward. Should be a really good show.
Good to hear. Kofi, how we feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling real good. I'm excited about what's going to transpire on this here evening. So I'm looking to hear what direction you're going to take us, my friend.
Oh, you gave me the keys? Is that what you're giving me, Kofi? You know, I
Shondo, there we go. Bro. You got the keys to the Jeep.
Beat. Hey, look, we've got a lot of hoops to talk about because, again, FAMU is a basketball school now. Don't get it twisted. Yes, we are. We are a basketball school. Rattler Nation, the Rattlers are moving. We just got to get everybody else in Tallahassee to get on board and understand this, to understand what we know. But we got some big news coming up that Tallahassee, you got to show up. So we got some exciting news to share coming up, and it's a mandate. The Pack to Pit, we got to get there. You'll hear about it here in a little bit. Also coming up in the show, we're going to be talking about part 2 of our pre-recruiting signing day segment regarding FAMU football. A good friend of the program, Marcus Green, our recruiting expert, has put together some more good information. Last week, if you joined the show, we talked a lot about the offensive side. This week, we talk about the defensive side of the ball. And we got a special guest coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest, the newest FAMU Volleyball recruit is joining us, Miss Asia Jones, a transfer from Florida Gulf Coast, and we will get a chance to talk to her. Very excited about the addition and what she's going to be bringing to the Hill and to this championship team as we look and continue to grow. And that is her, yes, Miss Asia Jones right there, and she will be joining the show a little bit later. So let's get into talking about some of the latest hoop news, fellas, because look, we were on the road, both the men and women's team on the road, traveling Saturday to Arkansas Pine Bluff and then Mississippi Valley State on Monday. And two different things happened, two different results. Our men swept, our women got swept, but they're dealing with a whole nother thing that we'll get into. But let's start with the men who got a sweep on the road, as the winning streak now has moved to 3 games for the Rattlers. We got an overtime win at UAPB for the fellas, 71-66 on Saturday, and then we followed it up on Monday with a 78-70 win. We'll start it over with you, Kelvin. The men are rolling. What did you see? What do we like from what we're seeing from our men's basketball team over the weekend?
The first thing I want to say is that we have our 2 guards, our most experienced guards, still out. They didn't play this weekend. So Reeves and I forget the other young gentleman's name, but neither one of them played this weekend. So we went with a lot of young guys. We have a lot of length. Number one, we were very tall. Both of the teams we played, particularly against Valley, they went small and tried to shoot threes, and they almost succeeded in spreading us out and driving to the basket and hitting those threes. But what we learned about this team is that they persevere. They went into overtime against Pine Bluff, and then pulled it out in overtime. And the Valley game, they led most of the game, but Valley had one player in particular, Hunter, who got hot, man. I think he went for like 28 or so, and he was making threes from Steph Curry range, and his number net in that second half. Man, it was pretty good to see. And I have to give a shout out to those announcers at Valley, man. They're the same ones we do the football games, and man, it's entertainment for sure. But the basketball team, I think having to place some of the younger guys early, they starting to find a rhythm, a rotation, and just getting that experience, and then being able to do that and get those W's at the same time is just a plus. And when we get those guards back, and get into a more normal routine, I think this team has a real shot of making a good run in the tournament, and have a chance of being pretty high.
And those guards that you're talking about, Jalen Spear and Cameron Reeves, I believe that's who you're talking about, right? I know Spear and Reeve didn't play in the Valley game. And do we lose Kelvin? Yeah, I think we lost Kelvin there. We'll get that fixed. But that's what I think he's talking about. Kofi, you're coming over to you. Your takeaway from what we saw from the men over the weekend.
Well, I mean, the team is slowly but surely building confidence and rounding into form. For me, it's not about how you begin. It's all about how you finish. And they've got a lot of fight. They got some moxie to them. And, long as we're good mid to late February, I'm going to view this as a success, because success has a way of breeding additional success. When you have that level of confidence, I would like to see additional scoring. I know MJ is our dude, right? But I want to see some more shooters begin to come into form because we're going to need them as we get closer to tournament time.
Yeah, was it you who last week you said the ceiling, the not I don't think you quite quoted it like Michael Jordan, but you called for us to show up in the tournament of the SWAC. That was your prediction, right?
Well, it wasn't necessarily the prediction. It was my thought process in regarding to what the ceiling was. I think that our ceiling is the championship. This team can get it done, but they're going to have to play better than even what they're doing right now. This isn't the best that our basketball team can play. And that's not a bad thing because they've got time to improve on where they want to go. I will continue to say I would like to see, just a little bit more press, get those turnovers, put pressure on the team and create more opportunities for our squad. But of course, when you don't have depth, you got people dealing with COVID issues. You don't want to wear your guys out too soon, but you got to do what you got to do.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. Talking about depth, and just to reiterate what Kelvin mentioned, yes, this past weekend it looks like we were out Jalen Spear, who averaged third coming into this point of the season through his 9 games played and started, averaging 31.6 minutes a game. Also missing Cameron Reeves, who played and started in his 12 games, averaging 30.8 minutes a game. That's the number 3 and 4 minutes per game on this team. So missing those 2 guys, listen to the stat line of the minutes played. Now, MJ Randolph is already moving into another stratosphere, and I continue to say, if there were odds on SWAC Player of the Year, you should have grabbed him a week ago because they've significantly dropped towards him being the favorite. This past weekend, he didn't come off the floor. MJ played 45 of 45 minutes in the overtime win against UAPB and played 40 of 40 against Mississippi Valley State. I don't know, those of you obviously before our show is the Coach McCullum and Coach Pillow coach's show. I don't know if Coach Pillow was there. I didn't get a chance to watch, but I would love to hear the last time MJ played 85 of 85 possible minutes in a 2-day time span. I bet he hasn't done that probably since AAU days. That's how much he played. But even going to the other guys on the floor in that contest, Keith Littles, 39 minutes. DJ Jones, 32 minutes. Bryce Morgnay, I hope I'm saying that name right. I apologize, Bryce. 37 minutes. Now, after Bryce, you really had Chase Bars with 29 minutes and Johnny Brown, who started the game, with 16 minutes. That was it. I mean, Jai Clark played 5 minutes. Dominguez Stevens played 2. That's it. We didn't have much depth, and we still scored 78 points. So I know, Kofi, you want to see us press more, but I'm telling you, we're getting a lot of efficiency out of, 5, 6 guys basically, and scoring 78 points. That's pretty doggone impressive. I mean, for a lot, and there are a lot of teams out there struggling to score 65.
Pressing is a personal preference of mine. Just growing up for me, Kentucky under Rick Pitino was my favorite coach. I know he did a whole lot of under the table stuff, but he really is my favorite coach.
Allegedly.
All right, but him and I grew up watching the Georgetown Hoyas wreak havoc on opposing teams with their defense, with their quickness, and create opportunities off of turnovers and just their physicality. The physicality is not necessarily where we are right now, but I want to see us again if we can just find that way to just play even stronger defense, get out there and create transitional points, I'm cool. And I like the direction. I mean, you can't argue with 3 in a row. I just know what I want to see. So that's that.
Hey, Kelvin, remember we talked earlier in the year, and I told you one of those things that was hurting us was our 3-point shooting, right? And so in the UAPB game, we win that ball game because of free throws and rebounding. I mean, we shot 20 of 28 from the free throw line, which is trying to do the 71.4%. UAPB was 14 of 29, which is like under 50. And we out rebounded them plus 10. Other than that, it was an even ball game pretty much. And really, they locked us up defensively from the field. We shot 30% from the 3-point arc, but we only shot 10 of those. We didn't rely on the 3-point shot. And even going into Saturday's game or Monday's game, we only shot 7 3-point attempts. So we're winning in sort of an unconventional way, Kelvin. If you think about the way the game is being played, we're sort of winning in an old school style. We're not relying on the 3-point shot.
Well, we kind of was that way in football. We went back to running the ball versus traditional RPO. We went to more traditional. And right now with COVID and the lack of guards, it's kind of hard to press. And we're running a half-court set with a lot of guys who got length. And shooting threes is not their game, and taking people off the dribble is not their game. MJ is the only person on the court that can take people at will and create one-on-one situations. So we have to do all the little things. We have to rebound. We have to make our free throws. We have to block shots. I think we're doing a pretty good job of that. And we're doing a decent job of defending. I don't know about the 3-point line, because but the shots that like I say, the shots that I made were just not conventional, right? You don't usually make that high percentage of shots. But we're doing what we need to do to win right now. I'm very interested to see what we're going to look like with those pieces back. Because some things work better for us with having the guards, meaning when we get into a half-court offense, we look a little better. We can make entry passes into the post. And theoretically, we should have a slightly better 3-point shooting option. It hasn't really shown itself, to be honest, this season yet. But theoretically, we should have more room for error.
All right. So again, that's the guys going 2-0 over the weekend, the Saturday, Monday split, and winning their 3rd in a row, improving to a record of 5-11 overall, 3-2 in the conference. Now let's go over to the women's side of things, and our ladies were actually coming into the contest against UAPB, having won 2 of their first 3 SWAC games, had a big 75-66 win over Grambling. This going up against a good UAPB team, but we're feeling pretty confident given what we saw the ladies do against Grambling. And then we going up against Mississippi Valley State, kind of liked our chances going there. Well, I all of a sudden look at the game, and it didn't really get announced, but come to find out, once you start looking at the game on the UAPB Vision, you end up seeing a very short bench for the Lady Rattlers. And then you don't see Coach Pillow. And you quickly realize, our team's in the protocol. No official word needed, because you can look on the floor and you see no Coach Pillow coaching the game against UAPB. And we were missing our number 2, 3, and 4 players in terms of minute and points production. We were missing sophomore Mallory Brooks, redshirt senior Anasia Harris, and Tia Bradshaw. And all 3 of those ladies are averaging 30 minutes a game, 28, 25, anywhere from 31 to 26 minutes a game, all behind Dylan Horton, who is still continuing to play lights out. by, and I'm not going to say she's by herself, but she's having to do more and had to do more this weekend. Unfortunately, UAPB is going to be one of those teams that are going to be a sneaky contender to watch out for in the SWAC women's race. The ladies lost 76-53 with just 7 or 8 players, and then we had to go to Mississippi Valley State, lost 78-62. And I think watching that game, I don't know which game was more frustrating for you guys to watch, but I know for me, watching the Mississippi Valley State was more frustrating because that's a team I feel like we could beat. I mean, that team only had, look, we had no wins coming into this year. They only had 1 win coming into this season, into that contest. I felt like we could have beat Mississippi Valley State on a normal day, but we're dealing with COVID protocol. So, Kofi, your thoughts on what the women's team is going through, and are you any thoughts on just the protocol and the timing of that news or lack thereof coming out?
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we're still in a pandemic. I know Florida people don't like to acknowledge that, but we are. I know everybody's vaccinated, but we're still in a pandemic, and it's affecting our numbers and our quality of minutes, or the quality people that we'll be able to field out on the court. And so, it's kind of like, in addition to having a first-year coach with a first-year team, it just kind of like is what it is. It's very disappointing, but that's all the more reason for us to really get behind the squad, get behind this team, show them that we value them, that we embrace them, and we want to see them go to the next level. And I believe that we can. It's just going to take some time.
Yeah. In that game against UAPB, Dylan Horton scored 22 points in 32 minutes. Kaylin Jones was the only other player to score in double figures. But really, we just got, I think there was one stretch where UAPB ran about an 18-0 run on us coming into late first quarter into the second quarter, and we really never could respond. It was almost like UAPB realized that we didn't have much of a bench and that we were without our number 2, 3, and 4 players. And all of a sudden they realized, oh, hell, let's just keep pushing the ball up the floor. And it just kind of ran us out the gym a little bit. And then Horton turned around on Monday night, dropped 26 points in 39 minutes as she went 9 for 9 from the free throw line on 7 of 20 from the field. And she was the only player to score in double figures. So, Kelvin, how does that work on the road? Give us a little background on what you can tell us in terms of, the timing of just, game time, the protocol, when you know, when you don't know. As much as you can share for people, we don't know if Coach Pillow ran Coach Pillow ran the well. Just I'll jump out of the way there, Kelvin. Go ahead, jump in there with some thoughts.
So first of all, just to talk about the game and the team, without those additional pieces, they did play all 8, 9 players that dress, but some of those pieces are just coming back themselves. Only had like a practice. I did catch part of the coach's show today, and Coach Pillow was not on there. Her assistant, the assistant head coach who led the team this weekend, he was on there, and they're anticipating to have everybody back, including Coach Pillow, this weekend. But when you in that protocol, you don't travel, you're isolated, and you have to make the best of what you can with. Usually they get there a couple hours prior to game time. If they get there a day early, they usually do a walkthrough the night before at the venue if it's available. It's not always available. And then, you get there and go through your pregame routine and everything and walk through, and then you lace them up. Now, in terms of my expectations with this particular team. We said we was gonna have to be patient, give them some time so that they can develop. And unfortunately, you know, they haven't had the whole team together the entire preseason up to now. You know, there's always been somebody out, and we have scoring. But I tell you what's hurting us right now is we turn the ball over way too much. I know we're leading the conference in turnovers on the women's side. We might be leading the nation. We turn the ball over a lot. We score enough points. Our defense, we also give up offensive rebounds at inopportune times. So, you know, teams getting 4 or 5 shots at the basket. I think some of that will improve, and the rebounding, and, you know, with the depth coming back, I think we'll be fine. And scoring-wise, I think we'll be fine. I'm not sure the turnover issue is the one that's going to be resolved this season. We'll have to see if that gets better.
Speaking of the turnovers, we only committed 10. I was actually pleased to see we only committed 10 against UAPB, but it reared its ugly head on Monday. We committed 28 turnovers and only had 8 assists. So, I mean, that's against Mississippi Valley team that, you know, we lose by 16, but, you know, really when you look at a quarter-by-quarter basis, you know, we lose by 2 in the first, by 1 in the third, but you lose by 7 and 6 in the second and fourth. It just adds up, you know, where if you probably commit less than half of those turnovers, you probably win that ball game against Valley, you know. So while all that's happening, though, we can still say we had the back-to-back SWAC Players of the Week. That's right. For the second consecutive week, Florida A&M had the SWAC Players of the Week in Dylan Horton, Women's Basketball Player of the Week, and MJ Randolph, the Men's Player of the Week. Dylan averaged 24 points a game while shooting 43% from the field in the last 2 weeks. She scored 22 against UAPB with 5 rebounds, had 26 against Valley with 5 rebounds and 2 assists. She's leading the conference in scoring, averaging 25.4 a game. It's the third Player of the Week honor for Dylan. And for MJ, I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, right now, another great week. He averaged 23.5 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2.5 steals in the 2 wins. He now has 4 consecutive 20-point games. And I believe he has had 10 this season overall. And for the 4th time, he has been the SWAC Player of the Week. So congratulations, MJ Randolph, Dylan Horton, back-to-back men and women's Player of the Week. And, woo, I tell you, don't, you know, just keep your eye out. It's been a good January. And this upcoming week, our men and women, we host Alcorn State on Saturday, Jackson State on Monday. Those are going to be big contests, especially on the men and women's side. Big contest this weekend. So, Rattler Nation, we need you to show up. We need you to show up this weekend and pack the pit, most definitely. Hey, coming up on the other side of this break, we're going to talk to the newest FAMU volleyball recruit. Miss Aja Jones is going to be joining us, and we're going to find out a little bit about her and just what we can expect from her that she's going to be bringing to the championship volleyball team that we have in the fall. So that is Miss Jones, and so we'll talk to her coming up on the other side. So you're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The sweet and smoky salmon rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Back to the ONG Strike Zone, Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. And joining us is the newest Rattler to come to the family, join the family, and be a part of our women's volleyball team. That is Miss Aja Jones. Everyone make sure you say it right now, because I know some of y'all are going to mess it up out there. It's Aja Jones. Aja, how you doing? Thank you for joining us this evening. How you doing, Aja? Can you hear me?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great.
All right. Good to hear you.
She may need to log out and log back in.
Yeah, well,
it seems like we're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, are you here? How's your signal? Are you getting us loud and clear?
I can hear you.
Okay. Let's see. What do we have? Okay, you can hear us, so we'll give it a try here and see how our signal is. I know sometimes with technology and signals it can go a little weird. So we don't want you to look like that what was that AT&T commercial where they said like you look weird trying to come through on the signal. So for those of you who are not familiar, Aja just joined the university and the volleyball program, a transfer from Florida Gulf Coast, 6'1" middle blocker from Venice, Florida. She is a junior, class of 2019. She's just coming off of 3 seasons at Florida Gulf Coast. So, Aja, tell us a little bit about what attracted you to Florida A&M as you were going through the process of looking at the transfer portal. Are you here? Hey, let's do this. Mel, let's see if, let's start talking about producer Mel. Mel, if you can, let's bring it back to our 3-person shot here. And Mel, if you can kind of instruct Aja to see if maybe we can reset and have her log back in. Hopefully we can get up a a better signal. But while we're waiting to reconnect our signal with Aja, let me just give a little background to everybody. Of course, middle blocker for Florida Gulf Coast this past year. They actually had a very good season over there, or down there, I guess.
What is going on?
We're losing all kinds of signal today, losing everybody. Kofi, are you still there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you well. I don't know
Can
where
you see
everybody's
me? Is my
going.
mouth moving?
I can see you. I can hear
Can
you.
you see my
I
hand
think it's
waving?
your hands waving. Although it's not in the screen, I can see it though. It's just going to
Okay.
be one of those. Just going to be one of those shows today. So it's just you and me for right
But
now.
quickly though, I mean, seems like she has good size, good explosiveness, and athleticism, which is one of the things or one of the trademarks of our team. And trying to make a run deep into the tournament, that has to be, just having more bodies, more height up front is what's really going to help us to maintain a solid lineup and a solid rotation.
Yeah, she started and played in all 33 games this past fall for Florida Gulf Coast. I mean, that was a team, Florida Gulf Coast, that went 27-6 overall, 15-1 in the ASUN. They won the ASUN championship, went to the NCAAs, where they defeated Texas Tech in 5 games in the opening round. And then they lost to the 4 seed Wisconsin 3-0 in the next round. But she was she had a career high or a season high 10 blocks in that tournament game against Texas Tech. That particular team that she played on, she had the second most total points on that team, which was second only to a young lady who was the player of the year, had the third most kills, and she led the team in blocks. And so joining us again, Aja Jones. Aja, how you doing? We got you back.
I'm doing good.
All right, good to hear. So, what one of my first questions was if you would kind of let Rattler Nation know what attracted you to FAMU when you were going through the process of deciding where you wanted to go once you made the decision to enter the transfer portal.
Well, when I was younger and I was getting recruited, um, I actually came and visited FAMU. And I think in the back of my mind, it always kind of stuck with me. But I ended up going for FGCU because it was closer to home. But when I did decide to finally enter the transfer portal, I mean, the first school that was in my mind was FAMU.
Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so
And
that's basically what it was.
did you have? And so you had previously had a relationship or knew Coach Yilmaz. He had previously, I guess, back in maybe the recruiting process, you were familiar with him. I'm assuming there was a little bit of familiarity there.
Yes, I hadn't talked to him since I was 17, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he showed us around the campus, and you know, he was they were definitely my top 3 for colleges.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead in there, Kelvin.
So, like you said, Florida Gulf Coast is home for you. In your home area. I see you from Venice. Did and you all played against FAMU, if I'm not mistaken, in a tournament down there. And I believe you all won in what four sets, I believe it was. But FAMU had
Yes,
a
I
really
think so.
successful year this year. They beat quite a few tournament teams, um, and it came kind of off the radar because you had a lot of new pieces, not a lot of new players. They had missed the season because of COVID and so forth, and they were really pretty dominant from a competitor standpoint. Someone who played against this team, and most of this team is coming back. What did you see from this team, and what did you like about uh, your new team now?
Well, firstly, I was super surprised when we played them this past time because when we played them my freshman year, they just looked like a completely different team. I saw a bunch of potential and some studs Dominique on the outside. She was killing it that game, and she really stuck out. And all of them really were like great teammates. I think I saw like they worked well together, and they had a good system and good setters. And that's just something as a volleyball player, that's what I look for when I'm facing another team. How are their setters? What's their system look like? What are they hitting? And they really surprised me. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kofi, go ahead.
Cool. Obviously, everyone in the state is trying to beat the University of Florida and looking forward to defeating them. What makes that team so difficult to play year in and year out?
Well, from my perspective, I would say that these girls, first of all, the height is there, 6'8", 6'7", and the coaching is really good there. They've always been a really great team. And so I think that
Did you say
sometimes in the
six
back of your
seven,
mind,
six
you can
eight?
have that. Oh, yeah, like these girls, they get them from like Europe and different places like that. And they're huge. Yes. And that doesn't mean that you have like amazing talent, which they do. But I mean, it's different playing against a team like that size. It makes you really have to work for every single point. And with a team like Florida and their background and their presence, it's always in the back of your mind. So I think that's why they kind of have this like unbeatable kind of vibe to them, because it is hard to beat a team like that.
Yeah,
Wow.
I reacted the same way, Kofi. When she said 6'7", 6'8", I was like, wait a minute, am I the only one that just caught what she just said there? They didn't look that tall on when we were watching the game when we played them, but now I understand how difficult and challenging that was. Talking about NCAA playoff experience, I mean, you guys, your team, your former team, you helped them win just the school's second conference title, went to the playoffs, got a big win, a comeback win against Texas Tech. You had a season high 10 blocks in that contest. Talk a little bit about the emotions of that experience and how that can help this team, this Florida A&M team, which they themselves just got into the tournament this past year and obviously are going to be looking to go maybe into day 2 next year.
I think in that moment, emotions are so high because everybody wants it. They want it just as much as you do. And everybody kind of has the same mindset that they're willing to do whatever they can to get it. And I think that you can let that kind of emotion like frighten you, or you can use it to your benefit. And I think I tried my best to use it to my benefit. I was definitely, my nerves were there, but I just had to push through it. And I think that that's something any team that can help any team when they go into the tournament, because it's a different ball game. I will say that was my first time in the tournament, and it was incredible. The energy, the nerves, I loved it.
Yeah, it definitely looked like I know for just seeing the atmosphere in Gainesville when FAMU went there, I know that energy looked entirely different, and I'm sure you experienced that as well, even going up against Wisconsin. Just before I throw it over to Kelvin, going up against that Wisconsin team, and when you look at your team, what was it about them that maybe separated you guys, or what is it that separates a top-ranked team like Wisconsin versus Florida Gulf Coast or even Florida A&M?
I would say, once again, height, just being an outside or being a middle and going up to hit and then seeing people's faces over the net, it's incredible. And the coaching, their staffs are so deep. There's like 6 different coaches for every different position. And, and these girls, most of them are born and bred to play volleyball. And I think that's something that can separate teams like ours and the top team like that. And also, they just have so much to prove. And when we played them, their gym was packed. I've never seen so many people come out for a volleyball game. And I think that's something that surprised me so much. And I was thinking, if I was them, there was no way I was going to lose any game in that gym when it was packed like that.
The power of the power of the home crowd, or power of a good crowd. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Right.
Well, FAMU beat Auburn in their own tournament, and a couple of other Power 5 and mid majors last year. So, sometimes the visitors win. But what I want to ask you is a question about coming to FAMU. Um, you know, you played high school ball home, and you were home when your first couple of years at Florida Gulf Coast. What is it? What are you anticipating? There's a lot of students who choosing to come to HBCUs now in multiple sports for multiple reasons, and I was just interested. Did you have a specific desire to go to an HBCU? Um, what do you expect as far as experience outside of athletics and so forth?
I would say definitely I had a desire to go to an HBCU. I knew when I hit the portal, if it wasn't FAMU, then it was going to be HBCU. Because nowadays, I think a lot of athletes are starting to see the importance of the culture and the history and the HBU experience as a whole. It's so important, and it's just, you want to be a part of something like that, and you want to make your teams better at HBCU so you can get the recognition that you deserve. And so it definitely, that the HBCU experience definitely played a huge part in my position. My decision.
Awesome. Yeah, what is your major, Aja? You seem pretty articulate. I don't know what I'm picking up and stuff. Do you do camps? Before you answer that question, do you do camps? Do you run camps? Have you been a part of those camps? In recruiting, because I see you like coaching and working with young people. I don't know what that is, but
I have done a few camps in my past. I don't know how I feel about coaching. I feel like sometimes I can be a little bit too much. But yeah, I've done a few camps, but they tried not to put me with the younger girls because they say I could be a little bit too much, but whatever.
cool. What is your major, Aja?
I'm a interdisciplinary studies major with a minor in marketing.
Awesome.
What other types of hobbies or extracurricular activities do you enjoy doing outside of volleyball?
Well, I like cooking and reading. Those are probably my top two. Also, I like to watch my brother play. That's always exciting. And also, I like to watch my sister. And yeah, basically, that's it.
What do they play?
Go ahead and brag about your family. All of y'all
Yeah,
are
exactly.
athletes and so forth. Talk about what your parents as well as your siblings, what sports they played or play and so forth, and where you get some of your talent from.
Well, my dad played in the NFL for 9 years, for the Titans, Rams, Patriots, Cardinals. I always mix up the teams. But yes, he was in the league for 9 years. He retired in 2001 when I was born. And my brother currently plays at LSU, and he transferred there from Clemson a year ago. And then my sister is a performer.
Okay. All right. All right.
Yeah.
So now you mentioned a strong enjoyment of books. Do I hear any type of Aja Jones book club? I mean, what are you reading? What are you recommending for our listeners? You know, we want to give Rattler Nation something to chew on. What would you recommend out of the off the shelf for Rattler Nation to get to know Aja Jones?
Well, my favorite book is a book called Everything, Everything. I don't know if you've heard of it, but recently I just purchased Michelle Obama's book because my mother is obsessed. So she's just been talking and talking. I was like, okay, I'm just going to have to read it.
Did you ever have any type of book club or anything like at your old school? And if you did, any chance you bring that to this team? Because there are a lot of young ladies on that team that have some very interesting hobbies. You know, so I mean, you know, bringing in a book club, I mean, you know, that seems like a natural fit with this group.
Well, I've never had a book club, but I'm 100% down for one. I think that would be amazing. So maybe.
See, look, I'm out here working for you, Aja. Look, you know, Rattler Nation, you know, let's go. Let's go. You guys get behind. Let people know where they can find you on social media, Instagram, Twitter, if I'm assuming you're on social media like a lot of young people are. So let them know where they can find you. And then, like I said, down the road, we'll talk about the book club thing later, but let them know where they can find you.
My Instagram is Aja Jones, AJA9, and then my Twitter is Aja_Jones9.
All right, all right. So what? Tell us. I mean, you look. I mean, this has been a great interview, and I know we'll get a chance to talk later
What did he
on.
say?
But is there anything that you want to share with us that maybe I didn't get a chance or we didn't get a chance to ask? Any questions that you might have? I mean, we're old school rattlers, so some of us know a lot, some of us know a little, but anything that we forgot to ask you.
I don't think so. I guess I would just say that I'm really excited for this season. And I think that this team is going to put in some real work and get some real results. So I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I got a
Nice,
quick
nice.
question, Brian.
Jump in there. Jump in. Go ahead.
Did you know any of the current players or competed against any of the current players prior to us playing you in the tournament? Do you know any of the players on the team previously?
Yes, I knew Jasmine, and I had heard of Dominique. I didn't know her personally, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So it was
Okay.
cool to kind of know somebody. I didn't go in here completely blind. And they've all been so sweet, so nice, just helping me settle in and teaching me the ropes, how to get around campus. I don't think I've been on a campus this big ever.
Really? Which hill has
Yeah.
gotten you so far? Which hill have you walked up that you're like, oh my God, I didn't know this hill was this steep?
I mean, I actually asked my friend, I said, is this normal? Like, I've never been up so many hills in my life. And after workouts, you're sore and trying to trudge up those hills. I'm like, oh Lord, help me.
Yes. Well, go
All
go
right,
ahead,
so
Kofi.
Aja, I heard that you said that you cook and everything. So if you were to go on a show against Bobby Flay and compete, what would be your go-to dish?
I would probably say some rice and gravy, macaroni, and some chicken.
All right now.
Soul food. How
Right.
Soul
convenient.
food.
I'm hungry. I'm already hungry talking about it.
All right,
That'll
so
work.
that is the ultimate interview. Hopefully, the first of many that we will have with Miss Aja Jones, the newest member of the FAMU volleyball team, to join us. A cook, a reader, a heck of a volleyball player in the middle, and we are excited about you joining Florida A&M. Best of luck to you walking up those hills, because trust me, it is a shock for everybody that first semester. Good luck to you, because I know it made me cry. I still think back on them days. And yes, so we know what you're going through. So we've been there.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely. One more time, give out your Instagram and your Twitter for anybody who wants to follow you.
My Insta is Aja Jones 9, and my Twitter is Aja_Jones 9.
All right. More volleyball news a little bit later in the year. We want to thank Aja for joining us. We're going to take a break. We'll be back on the other side. You're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back after these words.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earthblend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
The Sweet and Smoky Salmon Rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit GetVaccineAnswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your family.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earthblend coffee today? At Earthblend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, and Kofi. Again, want to thank Aja Jones for joining us. Aja is the newest member of the FAMU Volleyball team. And, we'll have to get a new updated photo, one that's got on FAMU gear. So we'll have to get that. But you guys make sure to go follow her on Twitter and Instagram, show her some love. And I'm serious. Look, we were off camera, off air, talking about NIL, and I didn't plan for us to start this segment on this road, but there's a lot of opportunities that I don't know are happening. We're about a semester in, right? 6 months into the passing of NIL. I was just thinking to myself, guys, I don't know if I've seen any ads or commercials or anything involving college athletes. Have you? And if so, where?
I don't watch TV that often, but I'm sure they have the beats, and a lot of stuff is on our social media gear. For instance, I know some of the players, or one of the players, signed with Beats, with headphones and stuff like that. So that's not something that would necessarily be on network television per se. But as it gets more football season relevant, you'll see more content begin to come forth with our athletes. So I'm just curious who negotiates that, how this whole thing works, because I think that there is indeed a tremendous opportunity. And I feel like Florida A&M University should be really at the forefront, because we have a number of prominent people who are in prominent places in the industry, whether it be in the corporate arena, as well as the music and entertainment arena. There's all kinds of opportunities to gain additional endorsement opportunities for our players and stuff. So I'm curious as to how that is initiated, who initiates it, how all of this works, and how we can do this in the best interest of FAMU.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that FAMU was being applauded for was, and I'm reading an article from June 30th, 2021. FAMU Athletic leads the way for NIL and the SWAC with INFLCR, okay, which the INFLCR and Teamworks is supposed to be, I guess, a entity that leverages content opportunities, mobile app, brand strategy education, and compliance tools, and will include social media membership tracking tools. So I guess this is supposed to be a program that's going to provide student athletes with the resources needed to build their brands, prepare them for the name, image, and likeness era, which includes full-scale use of INFLCR's technology and team to provide industry-leading resources for Florida A&M student athletes. I'm reading right out of the press release, right? So I asked, where are those opportunities? What opportunities has Marquise Bell had a chance to get? Bishop Bonnet, guys who have made a name for themselves. I think I saw an NIL opportunity for Savion Williams. I think I saw it maybe via his Twitter. But volleyball, we've talked to two outstanding young ladies, Dominique Washington, and then right there, Aja Jones. I mean,
let me ask this question though. So, like, say Marquise Bell or Bishop Bonnet, right? So I haven't seen anything in regards to football jerseys being available, which seems like it would just make so much sense that you get a football signed jersey or a football jersey with their name on it. can these guys start their own type ability if, say, they get a license, pay for the FAMU license, and they can sell their own shirts? Can they do that?
I
So
want to say, oh, go ahead, Kelvin. You probably go ahead. I'm get out the way.
I think we're getting in the weeds a bit, and these are really good questions. But I'll say this in general. I'm gonna make a general statement. So part of the issue and struggle with rolling this thing out is that
Did Mr. Freeze get him?
Yeah, he got him. He sniped him right when he was about to
Mr.
drop some
Freeze
knowledge.
just
He
came
got
up and just
sniped.
got him in the middle of it.
Right when he was
I
about to
better shut
drop
up
some
for Mr.
knowledge.
Freeze to get me.
I know. See, I know. Yeah. So I'm gonna wait to hear what he says. But Marcus Green chimed in on YouTube to let us know there were a few FAMU football players who had NIL deals, at least via their social media accounts. And like I said, I do think Savion was one of those who I did recall seeing something that Savion promoted. I just don't recall what it was. We got you back now, Kelvin. Go ahead. Before you got sniped, you were about to you you were about to share some important information which somebody didn't want out. Go ahead.
Yeah, so part of the struggle is that the NCAA, number one, hasn't clearly defined all the rules of engagement for this. Then on to add an extra layer to it, it's state by state. Some states have approved it. Some states got more geared toward athletes, some more toward the university, and some states haven't addressed it at all. So there's no consistency and clear direction of how to do it. And so the deal you're talking about, that FAMU signed, I see evidence of it in terms of the athletic department branding and tracking of that and stuff, and in turn, as a whole, benefiting the athletes because we are showing that from a media, particularly a online media standpoint, we have significant impact and imprint. Right now, you got to generate that into some kind of measurable dollars and so forth. Will be the next phase of that. You got that data and that information, but I'm not sure that anybody is clear on the right way to do it. And to point to that fact, I look at the Power Five schools. We have one right across the tracks, and I haven't seen a whole lot from their student athletes at all either, in terms of even in a local market, in terms of real benefit and presence, whether it be doing advertisement for local companies or guest appearance and so forth. So I'm not sure if that's part people not sure what to do and the process of how to do it, or it just hadn't picked up. But you're right. There's more questions than there are answers at this point to that whole process.
So
So
very quick, is that like Michael Jones' department and everything? Is that something he oversees?
I have no idea who does that on campus.
Because maybe he can answer some of those questions.
well,
Yeah, we can try to find someone who can.
yeah, we definitely need to try to find someone. I may just try to reach right out there to the CEO of INFLCR right there, Jim Cavale. Hey, Mr. Cavale, come on to the ONG Strike Zone. We want to find out how your company is serving Florida A&M University student athletes, and more importantly, how you're helping FAMU navigate through the way it's set up in the state of Florida. Because you do bring up a good point, Kelvin. Finding out how it is in Florida versus another state is so important because even one of the recent bills that you heard about after the young man flipped from Florida State to Jackson's. Ooh, God dog it, I said the name. I was trying not to say it because I know I'm gonna get killed. I know I'm gonna get killed by Jeremiah Clark on YouTube. So that's twice now. By them. So when he did that, when he flipped over there, one of the big things that was the law is so different in Mississippi versus Florida. And so we do need to find and get some clarification on the topic. One of the things that got shot to me was the top sports for NIL compensation. Now, this is a report from the site called Open Doors. That's OPENDORSE at Open Doors. It says total compensation by sport through December 31. So obviously this is just through the first, 6 months of the year. Football brought in 45.7% of all of the compensation in NIL deals, followed by women's basketball, 26.2%, followed by men's basketball at 18%. And then here's where the big drop comes from men's basketball to the number 4 sport, which is, any idea, guys, which might be the number 4 sport?
Baseball.
Gymnastics.
Women's
Track.
volleyball. Women's volleyball.
Nice.
2.4%. Again, you go from men's basketball at 18% to 2.4% women's volleyball, and baseball comes in at number 5 at 1.2%. Everything else under baseball is less than 1% of the total compensation. So again, 45, nearly 46% football, 26 women's basketball, 18 men's, and then a drop to 2.4 for women's volleyball, 1.2 for baseball. So yeah, that's sort of the total that's again total compensation. Now, again, there's so many questions outside of that we could go down this rabbit hole all day, but it is an interesting thought. And so, I encourage anybody who is in legal or political circles that has some insight. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, ongstrikezone@gmail.com. We'd love to hear, maybe even have you on the show just to help us navigate. Because I think if, for example, if I were a business, a t-shirt vendor, for example, or hey, a broadcast entity, what can I do as a business to, attract or have a student athlete at Florida A&M, for example, promote my product or promote a show, or you know what I'm saying? I think there are certain rules and things that I think we'd like to know. And the sooner those clear answers can be had, I think we can start to bring some deals to some student athletes. Because like you said, Kofi, there are businesses out there, but maybe those businesses just don't know that it's not as simple as just, or is it as simple as being able to just hire a student athlete? That's one of those things. Kofi, let me jump ship here, or jump the tracks here to another topic. This one's near and dear to your heart. HBCU Sports released their 2021 HBCU Sports Band of the Year poll. So this came out on, I believe, Friday, the 14th, and it is their opportunity or what they put out there to crown the 2021 HBCU marching band for the marching band season. It looks like they have 5 candidates based on their halftime show performances throughout the season, their cover songs during the year, and their halftime performances. The 5 bands are Alabama State, the Sonic Boom of the South, North Carolina A&T, the Human Jukebox, and the Marching 100. Okay, thank you. The Mighty Marching Hornets of Alabama State and the Blue and Gold Marching Machine of North Carolina A&T. I didn't know those names right off the top. So the winner has a chance to win $2,500. And you can go to hbcusports.com and you can vote.
Is that
for
poll
the
still open?
Yeah, the voting ends Friday, January 21st at it ends at midnight Central Time. So that's 1 a.m. Eastern on January 22nd. So that poll is still. Last time I checked, I think Alabama State was leading that poll. Let me see. I'm on the website. I'm going to vote right now for Florida A&M Marching 100. Yikes. Only 21,000 votes have come in for the 100. Alabama State and North Carolina A&T both over 100,000. A total of 260,000 people have voted in this poll. What are your thoughts, Kofi?
All right. Well, I mean, it's a poll where people are voting. So if your fan base votes, you're going to win, But I can tell you Alabama State definitely was not the number one marching band this year. North Carolina A&T had a down year this year. So if they're at the top of the poll, it's only because their alumni and their people got on there and voted.
What do you make? What do you make of their rankings where they rank the bands?
I think it's a bunch of foolishness because most of these people don't really know marching band. Just straight up. I mean, A&T doesn't even have scholarships. Now they do, for the record, they do put on decent shows for the most part. But if you ask just the average person, all right, does A&T sound better than FAMU? No. Do they march better than FAMU? No. Do they dance better than FAMU? No. So did they have more viral moments on Twitter? No. So how are they number one? It's just a bunch of, just a bunch. And it's that poll thing. I'm sure they probably saying the same thing about our national title. But, just really when it comes down to.
I was going there. I was going to go there. It's just like that
but just seriously, I mean, A&T is not even in the running this year. Alabama State is not in the running this year. Now, I do think that they've definitely improved their sound. I heard a different sound coming out of there, but they weren't better than 100 this year. Everybody saw them. I mean, 100 slaughtered them when they came to brag on the field. It was not close. Even the Stingettes are good, blah, blah, blah. Who else was in that poll?
It was Alabama State, Solid Boom of the South, and
so Jackson State sucked this year. They were not a good band. Now they had that one good show with the Pranks and J Sets when they did that little 50 thing. But other than that,
that was homecoming. That was their homecoming show.
This was not a good Jackson State band, in my opinion. They were not up to what I would consider standard. And when I think of the Jackson State Sonic Boom of the South, I like to think of them as having a big sound, which they do have. They are loud as all get up. But their precision was way off this year. Like, you can go back to the tape. You can look at just people missing yard lines, people turning at the wrong time. Their dance routines are piss poor. All they got is, what they're going to do. They're going to do the Jackson State run on. They're going to do a couple of patterns in motion. The J-Set's going to come out. They're going to do a 1-minute dance routine into JSU Rocks the House and march off the field. That sucks. Like, for me, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, they try to mix up the darn JSU Rocks the House with just little different things, but their band was not up to what I would say standard. The J-Sets aren't even number one in the freaking conference anymore. So Jackson State is not in the conversation. The end. The end. Run tell that. Now,
2 E's. All right, there you go.
Southern University, I could say they could get in there. I like what they're trying to do. They changed up their formation somewhat. The format of the show did not change, but at least they have multiple entrances. They try to do a lot with their marching choreography, which I can appreciate. They changed up their majorette formation, and they did different shows, and they, for the most part, they had mistakes. But by and large, you know they're going to bring it in the stands. You know they're going to do what they do. They still have a tremendous following. But did they sound better than FAMU? On some things, not all. They had good marching moments. They didn't outdance the 100, you know. That's that. Now, let's get to the 100. The 100 had a great year this year, beginning with the whole basketball thing. Then they slaughtered Alabama State on the field. They didn't go to Alabama A&M, so you don't have that content to see how that would have gone. It would have went FAMU's way. They didn't go to Valley. They had
Didn't go to
Homecoming, which I
Southern.
thought was a nice, solid show. But then they came back in the Southern show, and this is where I think they missed an opportunity. It was a good show, and in my opinion, I think it was better, but they missed an opportunity to bring something unique into Mumford because I don't know, just the last-minute nature of their trip being able to go. They went with what they have already done. But I would have liked to have seen them do a little bit more with that drill, and I think if they had done more with that drill and picked a couple of different stand selections at the end of their fifth quarter performance, I think that would have definitely sealed it. In my opinion, I don't think there was a better band than FAMU's Marching 100 this year. Now, here's what I will say. Auxiliary-wise, the 100 still has to step up in that area. They were much, much better this year when it came to the flat court than what I have seen in years past. But guess what? It's still not entertaining. It's still not going to go. That group cannot stand alone. If Beyonce was to come on our campus and pick a group, it would not be the Dirty Dozen. So it's an opportunity to grow in that area, break some of that tradition, and think and come up with something innovative that's going to blow the people's mind. You know, it's an opportunity to stand out and be different. As long as you hold on to tradition, it's going kind of like hold you back, you know, because you're going to be limited by your own thought patterns. But think about it. FAMU has probably more dance groups on campus than any other HBCU. I would look across it. I'm serious. Like, you got the Strikers, you got Mahogany, you got Boys of Poison. It's about 10 different dance groups. You got Venom, you got the Diamond Girl, the Diamond Dancers, you got who else?
Really
It's a
that
hip
many?
hop
There's really
co-ed
that
group.
many?
You got, bro, it's about 10. Then that you got that, and then you've got another 10 to 15 step groups that have nothing to do with the Divine Nine Greeks. So it's a lot of talent and it's a lot of energy on our campus that you can really pull from. Think about it, talk about it, create something, come up with something new that's going to cause this particular group to really be ambassadors. The 100 gets that, it's going to really shut it down. As simple as the format is, again, no band sounded better than FAMU. No band marched with the level of intensity as FAMU. No band outdanced the 100 this year. So who was better? Nobody. The end. And it definitely wasn't Jackson State University. They can go sit down somewhere.
Well, shut it down. Shut it down. Let's go home. Look, so again, you can go to hbcusports.com and vote. And voting ends Friday. And you know, right now the 100's 80,000 votes behind. A long way to go. You can vote more than once, so you are encouraged to come back and vote often. However, I'm reading a disclaimer here. They don't want the rapid fire voting coming from a single IP. So however they monitor those kind of things. But yeah, you know, let's great opinions there, Kofi. I'm glad I decided to bring that up. I knew I'd get your passionate take on that. One other topic before we go to break. I'm going to save the other one for the football segment on the other half. But it just came out today via the SWAC, and I'm trying to find the press release here. It came out this afternoon that the NBA TV will televise 4 SWAC men and women's basketball games featuring Grambling State, Florida A&M and Texas Southern in honor of Black History Month on back-to-back weekends, Saturday, February 5th and Saturday, February 12th. On Saturday, February 5th, Texas Southern comes to FAMU. That game will start with a women's game at 2 p.m. Eastern, followed by the men's game at 4:30 Eastern. Both of those games will be on NBA TV. So again, Rattler Nation versus Texas Southern, the defending SWAC conference tournament champions. That's a big day for Florida A&M. We have a 10,000 seat stadium, Kelvin. I shudder to think if we get what we've been getting, how bad that'll look on TV in that cavernous arena that we have. So, Rattler Nation, watching us, listening to us, this is upcoming a great weekend to go to the Lawson Center. Alcorn and the team from Mississippi will be coming in on Monday. That will be happening this weekend. And then 2 weeks after that, we've got a good Texas Southern Ball Club coming in. You're going to have 4 good weekends, probably with Prairie View on the Monday after that. There's in 3 weekends, there are 2 of those weekends you can go see good basketball. We are playing good basketball right now. Go to the Lawson Center. Pack that pit. We have how many students on campus, Kelvin?
Over 9,000.
Yeah, but in terms of housing, we probably can house about 1,500.
All right, so I need 1,000 of those on-campus students, plus another 5,000 of the just non on-campus students. I need y'all in the pit. We need them in the pit. Now, the rest of the alumni around, look, y'all go ahead. Come on, man. Y'all can afford this. How much the tickets cost to go to the game? Anybody? Kelvin?
This
Kofi?
is a tremendous opportunity again because
season tickets are
basketball.
$75.
I'm just talking. Give me one ticket one day. One ticket one day. Look, I know we want season tickets, but give me one ticket one day. How much it cost? 20 bucks? 30? Look, I'm going to say 30. 30 bucks, right? 20, whatever. 20 to 30 bucks a ticket. Come on, folks. That gets you 2 games. They're not going to make you leave after the women's game. If you get 2 games for the price of 1, go pack the pit. We cannot be on NBA TV with 1,500 folks in that cavernous arena that we have. Thoughts, Kofi, Kelvin?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we've talked about this time and time again. I mean, basketball presents FAMU with an opportunity to really get a greater return on its investment, probably even greater than football. And what will really help us really begin to get ahead in the curve and not end up in the red is people attending basketball games, coming to the basketball games, buying, concessions, cheering on our team. It's really a good look. And the other reason is we've got some major visitation coming to our campus with our football recruits. So you want to try to put on a good show, set an atmosphere, show them why FAMU definitely would be the choice for you. Show them what we do, show them what we're all about. This is it. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a tremendous opportunity for us to show Rattler Nation, or really show the nation, what the number 1 HBCU really is all about.
Kelvin?
Typically, we put on a big show and get everybody out for, these televised games. And I'm sure this will be no different. There'll be a concentrated effort between athletics and the university constituency to include SGA and the student affairs and the Greeks and all that to get them out. So I do anticipate that we'll have bigger crowds. We'll also have bigger crowds coming up because now everybody's back. The band will be in the stands also, adding to the atmosphere. And we're playing good ball. We're winning. So all those ingredients, I think, come into play also. So I'm hopeful that we'll have 3,000 this weekend, at least for the upcoming game.
Yeah, that's a good point. We need to have at least minimum 3 this weekend for both games, and we've got to find ways to create that carryover. There's got to be a way to create the carryover so that you get the fan. Look, the product on the court is getting better. It is better. Now we just got to get the state. I don't know what. Maybe we need to have a 2-for-1 hot dog night or whatever the main concession is. I don't think they sell alcohol in that arena, but whatever it is that's going to get people to come back again and again. We got to find ways to increase or get the return on the investment of coming to a FAMU basketball game. Let's take a break, gentlemen. We come back on the other side. We got some football information to talk about, possibly some changes in the coaching staff, and then we also need to take a look at the upcoming year and the recruiting info on the defensive side of the ball. So all that is coming up on the other half. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Shop Melvin Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Melvin Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Melvin Online Women's Boutique.
The Sweet and Smoky Salmon Rub infuses smoked black pepper with dehydrated maple syrup, pink Himalayan salt, ginger, thyme, mustard, and more to make a sweet, savory rub, perfect for salmon, trout, and other delicate seafood.
Let's get back to strolling instead of scrolling. Before we can safely come together, we need the facts on COVID-19 vaccines. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision for yourself and for your fam.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Follow the Black College Sports Network and all of our shows on YouTube. You can find us at MyJBN Online and on all social media at MyBCSN1.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get down.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Now, you can live in Texas and not have a good red meat blend. Texas Cowboy Dust is designed for steak and other red meats. It's out to be my most popular spice blend, made with onions, peppers, ground mushrooms, pink salt, and other spices. Texas Cowboy Dust also goes great with chicken, pork, vegetables, and adds a restaurant-quality sheen to gravies and sauces.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, trying to get down.
Vanilla smoked sea salt seasoning is for seafood. The tarragon and fennel bring out the natural sweetness in seafood. I also use it in rice dishes, on yams, asparagus, blueberry pancakes, and believe it or not, chocolate chip cookies. Vanilla smoked sea salt adds a salty and savory component to sweet dishes that create a symphony for the tongue.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique to spice up your closet with trendy, unique looks. We have fashionable and chic looks at very affordable prices. Velvet Boutique offers free shipping all year long on all orders. Shop online at www.melvetboutique.com. That's www.melvetboutique.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Shop Velvet Online Women's Boutique.
Welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway. I want to give a shout out to everybody watching us on Facebook and YouTube. Some of the YouTube names I'm seeing out there: Edwin Moore, EA, The Truth, of course, Marcus Green, who definitely dropped us a lot of good nuggets. Kenya Sykes dropped in. Tamara T jumped in. I don't see Mary 305, but I know she's out there somewhere. She maybe just hadn't checked in yet. Jeremiah Clark, all of our good friends from Section P Tailgate that are watching us. I know Marcus is out there. Mississippi Rattler. Floyd Hill. I don't want to forget. I won't forget names. I'll never be invited back again if I forget somebody. So shout out to everybody watching us. Make sure.
Is Michael Johnson in?
Is who? Who?
Hello?
Yeah. Hello? Is who? Who did he say, Kelvin?
I didn't catch it either. He got sniped.
Okay. He got sniped. See, he was talking all that band noise and somebody sniped him, came around the corner and cut the plug. Somebody from the marching band from the South. Anyway, there he is. All right. So, it happens to the best of us. Technology. Gotta love it. Make sure you're following
Mr. Freeze
us.
is showing out tonight.
He is at ONG Strike Zone, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. MyJBN, MyBCSN is where you can find us on the Google or Apple Play Store. And our show will be broadcast or streaming on the BCSN Pod Zone, where you can get an aggregate of all of the shows that appear on the Black College Sports Network, from Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab to the Sports Wrap to the pregame show to the Carlos Brown show. Lots of good shows, some school specific, some just general content, news and information as well. So make sure you find the BCSN Pod Zone wherever you listen and download to podcast. All right, so one of the big stories that came out a couple days ago, it was reported by on3.com. It appears like we're losing our offensive line coach and co-offensive coordinator, Coach Ryan Stanchek. He appears to be heading to join the coaching staff at Austin Peay. Stanchek is, a former West Virginia Mountaineer All-American left tackle who started his coaching career at Alcorn State as an offensive line coach. He coached there for 4 years before moving over to Southern Miss, and then came over to FAMU in 2019, I believe, is when he came over to FAM. And so I don't quite know what the tie is in with Austin Peay. I don't know if it is a money move.
Southern Miss.
I'm sorry, huh?
My understanding is the coach there now work with him at Southern Miss, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. So when he moved, when he previously moved to Southern Miss, prior to coming to FAMU, that coach, I guess who you're talking about, is now at Austin.
He was on that staff.
He was on that staff. Okay. And so, yeah, it pretty much, now if you go to Coach Stanchek's Twitter, he no longer has on there that he is coaching at Florida A&M, so it is safe to assume he has moved on. I saw somebody in the chat room asked a question about why are we losing offensive line coaches every year? Is the pay that bad that no one stays? What's your thoughts, gentlemen, on the shuffling in the coaching position there at the offensive line?
Well, opportunities present themselves. Alex Jackson had an opportunity to go to the University of Tennessee, be a part of a FBS program, and see how they do things. But now he's at Alabama State, so he's moving multiple spots himself. So that's not necessarily always, just with the salary. It's just sometimes just looking for the right opportunity and the right fit for you. Stanchek had a run, obviously here with Coach Willie, and maybe he felt more comfortable being up there in Tennessee at Austin Peay. Which I understand, but Coach Simmons' Rolodex is quite thick, and people are looking for opportunities. Just like with the transfer portal, we'll have an offensive line coach, no doubt, very soon.
I'll tell you what, I'd be curious to. Well, I'm not going to speculate, but I know the guys, the offensive line guys, are getting work done. We know where they're getting work done, and working out in Tallahassee. Be interesting to see if that might lead to a coaching opportunity for a former Rattler. Just kind of put that out there. You know what I'm saying? That might. I don't know. Who knows? We'll kind of see.
I'd love, I'd personally love to see Wally Williams. I'd love to see Jamie Nails. I'd love to see Terry Buford, in there. We've got offensive line history at FAMU. Great offensive line history at FAMU. But
yes,
it's just about really with the coaching staff, especially with that culture, having the right fit. Am I freezing?
No, you're good.
Okay, just having the right fit and being the right fit. So, somebody might be able to coach in an area, but the thing is going to be, can they work together on that staff in this environment with that culture, and are they going to be able to enhance that culture? Can they really work together to make FAMU be what it can be? So
we wish Coach Stanchek we say thank you, and we wish him the best in his future endeavors. Thought he did a good job, very serviceable job, and so we just keep building. I have all the confidence in the world that Coach Simmons is going to find somebody to come in and continue to grow what he's building. Let's talk about this. Wait a minute. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Kelvin.
I just wanted to speak to the question that was asked. You're doing a good job when your coaches get other opportunities. And when you're successful, we've had back-to-back 9-win regular season games, regular win seasons, 2019 and 21. And so when you're successful, people look to, successful programs to bring on coaches. So, a lot of, coaches are getting opportunities, where they're, it's a promotion and in their minds, a step up, a different kind of fit. So it happens. It's going to continue to happen as long as we keep winning. So,
But
it's
at some
nothing to.
point, I would say at some point we're going to have to find a way to match and financially keep these coaches. I mean, I would think that should be the goal, right? I would think when we have a coach that's successful and young, I mean, we can keep a Coach Stanchek for a little while longer until maybe he moves to that level of where he's trying to get to. I don't know where he's trying to get to. I don't know if he's trying to eventually get to a head coaching job or an OC job or what. But, I would imagine when can we get to the point of keeping these coaches and not letting them leave for the next better paying thing. Didn't say it's the better.
We can't. We can't. I mean, it happens at every level. High school, college, pros, there's always somebody who's gonna be able to outbid you, number one. And then sometimes it just ain't about money. Sometimes it's family, location. It's many different factors that happen with these kind of decisions. Coaching profession, frankly, is a transient position. Head coaches move. If you're lucky and you're winning, I think they average probably 3 to 5 years at a program, and some less than that. So you're always on the move. So it just goes with it, and so I think money would be better spent on the program itself, the facilities, the support, those type things, uh, instead of trying to outbid for position coaches and so forth at our level with our resources.
Gotcha. Okay. As we get into talking here in this segment about the future FAMU football recruiting, but more so an analysis of where we are, where we want to go, we're going to the defensive side this week. Last week, we talked about the offensive side of the ball, 6 returners, or at least projected 6 returners on offense, 1 less on the defensive side of the ball. Courtesy of our good friend Marcus Green, we are projecting 5 returning starters. Those returners, Stanley Mentor and Gentle Hunt, as well as Isaiah Land. It depends on how you view Land, whether you consider him a defensive lineman or a linebacker, but those 3 up front. And then the secondary, essentially Kendall Jenkins and Courtney Cox. Although Kendall Bowler is someone who got a lot of minutes that we probably look at coming back, possibly maybe even taking a starter role. So in terms of total returners that's starting, you could probably say 5 to maybe 6. It just depends on how you look at Bowler. In terms of position breakdown, defensive linemen, linebackers, and DBs, the one area that we feel, or especially Marcus feels like we have the need for additional depth and some talent upgrades will be at the linebacker position. We do lose 4 linebackers, Nadarius Fagan, Elry Allen, Demetrius Powell, Derek Mayweather. We've got some returnees, including Jaleel Kaur. That's a name that I'm excited about just based on what I recall from him coming out of high school. I'm interested to see what Jaleel Kaur, if given the opportunity, can do. Then, of course, you've got Isaiah Land, outside linebacker, I guess is how you project him. None of the other names are quite familiar to me. They may be to you guys, but I think what's interesting is the newcomers. Two or 3 interesting newcomers, including Isaiah Major, who's coming out of Independence Community College that came on board as of January 18th. And then Eric 20 Horn, who's a transfer from Iowa State as of the 18th as well. I believe both Major and Horn are on campus. And then a verbal commitment from linebacker Detarius Lee out of Deerfield Beach. I'll start with you, Kelvin. Your thoughts on the linebacker position. We'll start there.
It is the number 1 position of need for us, which is why I think the coach is focused on the junior college transfer route. One thing that you'll see with both linebackers, the linebackers will be recruiting who are on campus, as well as the DBs who are coming in, because we lost both safeties also in Collier and Marquise. Uh, the guys that they have targeted are hitters. Those guys come up and they make tackles, and they have quite a bit of experience playing time. Right, where they're coming from, they played. So I think all that bodes well talent wise. Um, we need people who can contribute right away. You don't know at the high school level that transition from high school to college. You know, not many kids can make that their first year. So that's why you you look at how the recruiting is kind of set up with the transfer portal. Um, right now, the high school kids, unless you're a 3-star or better, they really it's tough getting a diamond in the rough. But from a defense standpoint, we do have a lot of kids who are coming back. We talked about the starters and that we got 5 or 6 that are not returning. But we have a lot of kids who played a lot of ball. You got Javon Morgan from Florida High, and of course you mentioned Lovey, who got a lot of playing time. We also had at corner position we had a couple of guys who went down, who should be back next year. So and we played a lot of guys in the secondary. So um, though we might be down 6 starters, I would say we probably got 15 to 16 returning lettermen who actually played on that defensive side of the ball this year. So we got guys that played a lot of ball, and I like the strategic way in which Coach Simmons has been and staff have been filling the gaps with their position of needs. So I think we're on the right track, and I think we have an opportunity for this defense to be even better, believe it or not, next year. I think they'll use Isaiah a little bit more, getting him ready for the next level. Uh, Isaiah's a kind of hybrid between a pass rusher and they probably going to want to see him play a little more conventional outside linebacker too, just to see how versatile he is. So I imagine we'll have some different schemes and we'll put him in different positions and locations and so forth, uh, instead of primarily using him as a pass rusher. And so we'll see how all that plays out. But I think this defense is going to have a lot more flexibility, and I think they're going to have more schemes. They're going to be a little bit more complex. They're going to be able to hide, their the coverages and their blitz packages and so forth, in several ways coming at it. So that's what I'm looking. I'm looking for growth in terms of the schemes as well as the talent.
Kofi, what do you want to add on regarding the position or the defense in general?
Well, I mean, the defense in general is just going to be, I think they're going to pick up right where they left off. Obviously, as someone like a Marquise Bell is going to be very difficult. I'm going to miss not having him there. But we got some thumpers, bro. Like a couple of the young men that we got from Iowa State, the young man that we got to play safety. All of the guys that I would say the trait that I'm seeing is that all of these guys tackle extremely well and they love to hit. So this is going to be an extremely physical defense that is looking to impose its will on offense. And I would dare say that we're probably going to be a faster defense as well. So that's going to bode well for this coming edition, the 22 edition of the FAMU football team.
Moving over, defensive back and defensive line are two areas where we have so many returning players. I mean, Marcus tells us we've got 20 returnees on the defensive line side, 26 defensive back returnings, which is like, man, where are guys
is that
going to
Mr.
get
Freeze?
in? Where for who? Well, no, I got you. Unless you lost me, I'm still here. So yeah, we've got, according to, I'll go for the defensive side, defensive back. Obviously, we lost Marquise and Antoine Collier, two guys that very hard to replace. And just think how great it was to have Collier back there along with Bell this year. A couple of interesting newcomers. Transfer Jordan Moore from Kilgore College interesting. But also, how about Kamani King, another Iowa State transfer? So I mean, we're bringing in division.
Duval.
Is that where? Is that where he's from? Jacksonville area.
Reigns.
Yeah, another one. So the defensive back, the Iowa State connection that we're bringing to the defense, Big 12 experience, and then you combine the returnees, Lovey Jenkins, Kendall Bowler. Interesting to see if some names such as Tevin Griffey, or how about this name, Patrick Bonner Jr., guys like that actually can get on the field. You know,
Hey,
Javon
that
Morgan.
competition is good. And Herman Jackson's coming back, and I mean,
Eric
it's
Smith.
going to be amazing, man, just to see that level of competition. They're going to push one another. They're going to challenge one another to be better. And if you want a spot, you're going to have to play well.
Size. I'm curious to see what kind of size we have. I have a thought that some of these names, if I remember correctly, all are kind of in that 5'9" to 5'11" height. I don't know if we have anybody with the size that Collier and Bell had. I could be wrong. I mean, so please correct me if you know differently. So I'll be looking to kind of go through these names and just kind of see what we have in terms of size. I think that may be an area that'll be interesting to pay attention, because some of these other teams that are out here snagging high profile wide receivers, I mean, these guys are big. And that was one area that I thought our defensive backs struggled with, is dealing with tall wide receivers. That's just an observation. I thought we had struggles with at times. Up front, the defensive line, we lose Savion Williams, of course. We lose Deontay Williams, Ronaldo Flowers Jr., Cameron Smith, Jelani Bland. Those are the 5 departures that we lose. So far, the only newcomer is Ladreus Dre Jones, a transfer from Abilene Christian. So, I mean, the defensive line, of course, we'll see with names like Stephon Atkinson, Malcolm Major, Kyle Jackson. Obviously, you've got Gentle Hunt there up front, who I thought played huge this past season. It's a lot of depth there. I mean, going 2-3 deep. Again, looking to see what kind of size some of these guys bring. The good thing is we do come back with the 2 deep. With behind Stanley Mentor, Kamani Stevens is there. Behind Gentle Hunt, Richard Summers is there. Behind Isaiah Land, Kyle Jackson is there. So those are names that they were number 2 on the depth chart. So it'll be interesting to see, do those guys actually move into that role? How about some players to watch? Some guys that you're watching for as we get close to spring ball. Some names that you're interested to see how they fare in these battles. Kelvin.
Okay, so of course, quarterback position. I want to see how much better Rashawn is. We saw tremendous growth from him from the first game to the last game. I want to see what his ceiling is and how much more he can grow in terms of actually being accurate and more consistent with his throws. I went back and watched the Mississippi Valley State game, and man, we missed so many opportunities in that game that were wide open. So I want to see his development and the development of the 2 freshmen in particular, because I really think between those 2 freshmen and Musa coming in, I think it's going to be a heck of a competition, and it needs to be. So I'm looking at that first and foremost. Of course, we lost a lot of offensive linemen. So I'm looking to see how what we brought in with the JUCOs, if they pan out, do they in transfers, do they look like what we recruited, and is it at the level or either upgrade in terms of our run blocking and pass protection, because we will get tested right out the gate. Our first 4 games, I mean, we got University of North Carolina, we got Jackson State, we got South Carolina State, and we ain't careful, we got Auburn State. You know, very successful programs who used to winning. They all are returning a lot of players also. So we have to come out the gate ready. So offensive, I kind of feel comfortable with what we have on the defensive end. But and the kicking game, because we have our kicker. We got Martinez back, so and we got good return guys. So I think we'll be good in those phases. But in order to get through that gauntlet and to win at least 3 out of the 4, we're gonna need the offense to be dynamic. So quarterback play, offensive line play is what I'm looking for.
We play practically every HBCU national champion from the past 2021 season at the beginning of the year. So it's a hell of a gauntlet to start the year. Kofi, what about your expectations, players to watch in the hunt, whether it be the defensive side of the ball or if you want to go in general offense or overall?
Just for me, I think that, obviously, like Kelvin said, I mean, Rashawn McKay is who I'm going to be looking at. I know we've got Musa coming in. So that battle right there is going to be pivotal to see, how much Rashawn McKay has matured. But then also, I want to say, what does Musa bring to the table? In terms of talent and ability, and how's he going to fit in as a leader on this team? And I want to see Jamari Sharee, because I think that, from a creative standpoint, he can actually affect what we do on a number of different scales, both in the passing game and the running game. It's all about how our coaches are perceiving to use him going into this year. And I mean, Hawkins is coming in there. You got Oxendine. We've got a number of different players to work with. And then how is this offensive line going to gel? What new concepts can we expect coming forward into this year? So all of this is a tremendous opportunity for Rattler Nation. Obviously, I'm looking at defense, looking at everything really to see everything. Special teams, everybody's coming back, so that's not necessarily a concern with me from an execution, punt, or kick standpoint. But I would like to see some additional schemes. Personally, I would like to see some additional schemes, and I want to see us be ready so that we're not giving up fake punts and giving up fake kicks on a regular basis. So this is a year. This is an opportunity to actually clean that area up. And as they put those concepts in, everything you see in the spring is not necessarily what you're going to see in the fall. But I'm looking forward to seeing how all of this begins to come together.
It's funny you brought up the block punts. One of the things here, I'm going to come back to Marcus's info he provided us. Execution and fundamentals is going to be one thing that I think we all should pay attention to. And I know hopefully is an emphasis. Well, here's why I say execution and fundamentals. Hold on, Mr. Scheme. FAMU ranked dead last in the NCAA FCS division and dead last in the SWAC in penalties, yielding 107 infractions. That's 12 games, 71 in an 8-game SWAC play, and 85.17 penalty yards per game, just about 89 and a half in SWAC play. So, that's telling for a team that still won 9 games. Just think about how those penalties affected us in our biggest loss of the year against Jackson State. Drive killers. So hopefully we can avoid being the most penalized team in the FCS and the SWAC next year. You know, I think that's one of the big things that I think is going to be pivotal to see. I think we also going to have to take a look at Isaiah Land. Is he able to continue or duplicate, even somewhat halfway duplicate what he did? The young man from Southern who won the Buchanan in the spring dealt with injuries and just never had the year and a full season that he had in the spring. So, you know, look, we know Isaiah Land is going to be out working, hopefully getting, there's always been talk, or there's been talk about him adding 20 pounds. You know, how will that affect him? How will they use him in this upcoming year? And how about another year for the co-defensive coordinators, Ryan Smith and Brandon Sharp? You know, they had a top 10 defense this past year, you know, but you lose some All-American talent. So while we talk about names like Javon Moore, defensive back, Jordan Moore, even coming in as a 4-star talent, Geno Hunt up front, the linebackers we mentioned, how about a name, LaRodrick James, a young man who Marcus points out has a profile that reads similar to Isaiah Land, and that is under recruited, but has a high energy athletic build from out of the class of 2020. You know, are we going to be able to find that next, or really showcase that next diamond in the rough that makes a statement in the nation and the SWAC? So shout out to Marcus Green again, some great information to help us through this segment. And hopefully, again, if you go back and listen to last week's show in the last segment and then kind of this week, it'll give you a little bit of news and nuggets. And hopefully these next couple of weeks upcoming, we can get some more future recruits on the show, kind of let you know a little bit about them. And of course, I mean, all through the month of February leading up to spring practice, we're going to try to bring you some quality interviews with all of these future, or all of these current Rattlers. I can't call them future because some of them are on campus right now, walking up those hills like Aji is. So, yeah. So, all right, fellas. Any final words as we close out this show, Kelvin?
Do you hear about all the Rattlers, Rattler Nation? We got 2 weekends coming up. This week is really big because we have the football recruits coming in. Some are signed. I know we have the 4-star Kristen Miller out of the Georgia coming down this weekend. So we want to put on a good show. So everybody come out to the games and support the basketball teams and create environments that help side coaches close the deal with some of these recruits.
Kofi, final words.
Hey, let's pack the pit. Let's put on a good show. This is who we are. I'm excited about this weekend and what's going to transpire, the transactions that are going to take place. We're building towards something special, guys. So tell a neighbor, tell a friend. We're definitely on every Wednesday at 8 o'clock p.m. This is where all the hottest news regarding FAMU and FAMU athletics is going to be. We didn't touch on a couple of subjects on tonight because somebody told me to hold my tongue. But a lot of this stuff is going to be coming down the pipe in the very near future and everything. And I ain't want to be messy talking about people and everything that lost their job on their day off. But going forward, I'm looking forward to all of the great news that's coming forward for Rattler Nation. I love each and every one of you. Let's go.
Let's go. Shout out to producer Melody for sticking around and seeing us through this. Thank you again to Aja Jones for joining us. Go ahead and make sure you follow her on Twitter and Instagram, the newest Rattler on our women's volleyball team.
Hey, did Jackson
Congratulations.
fix them potholes in their streets and everything? Is it safe to drive in Jackson?
I don't know. I hopefully don't have to go there for a couple more years. So, until we go up there. So
Maybe
I'm good
Lumumba
right now.
fix them streets.
Welcome to the newest Rattlers. Those new recruits who have come on campus. You guys be safe out there. Omicron is real, and or whatever variant we're on these days. So you guys make sure to be safe. So for my guys, Kelvin, I don't know what happened to him. Must have lost him. Kelvin, Kofi, I'm Brian. There we go. I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you for watching the O&G Strike Zone. Follow us everywhere we are. And Rattler Nation, get to the pit this Saturday against Alcorn, 2 p.m. women's game, 4:30 men's game. All right, Rattler Nation, be good, stay safe, and make sure to strike, and strike again. Peace out.